Are you recording? Hello, future editing Alyssa. How are you?
I'm miserable.
Miserable, probably.
My throat makes that noise all the time. I think I was a frog in the past life.
Frog.
Yeah.
I think I was a bear. I've thought that since I was like a little girl. I think it's kind of creepy now that I think about it.
Why?
Because I'm like,
Bear's a cool one.
I know, but like just the fact that I knew that since I was like little, I was like, I was a bear. Like I was very like adamant about
I wish
it.
I was a wolf, but I think I was a frog. So, a conversation.
I was really tired today.
Me too. I wasn't really tired. I've just been really low lately, and I know it's just one of those times, and I'll get over it, but it's been like lasting, and I'm just kind of like over it.
Yeah, like today I was just like, I don't want to be here.
I
Oh
like
my
working
god,
from
your
home.
eyeliner's blue.
Well, it's actually like black sparkles.
I like that. Was that the one you wore yesterday? I didn't notice that yesterday. I just noticed it right now because of the light. So your eyeliner kind of
Yeah,
like
my makeup
flickered
always shows better like
with the light.
yeah.
So
Cyburp.
weird.
I feel like I cyburp a lot. That just like happens because I can't like burp on demand. It just comes out when it wants to.
Oh my god, I do like a hiccup burp. I call it my herp.
You shouldn't call it that.
But else if it like a biccup, like
That's cute.
it's my biccup. Yeah, cause and
No,
it's
the herp is funny.
Well, yeah, because sometimes it's weird because it's always just like one hiccup. It'll just be like a like that, but then I'm also burping at the same time, so it's a weird noise, and it's really
That's funny.
loud too. So if you ever hear me just do kind of like a weird hiccup burp, that's my herp.
She's got the herp.
Yeah, my sister does it too. I think it's like a genetic thing.
I feel so low energy. Let's do something to get our energy waves. Manifest energy! Get the vibes!
I have a lot of energy. Damn, don't die. We got a potty to record.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Yeah?
I think so.
Okay.
Welcome back to episode 4.
We've made it this far.
We've made it this far.
Ah!
Welcome back to The Gang Is All Here. There's no is, but there's an apostrophe.
Well, there is a is in gangs.
That's why I said there's an apostrophe.
Oh. Well, let's introduce ourselves. Come on now. My name is Carla, but Liz calls me Carl.
And my name is Alyssa, but Carl calls me Liz.
And we're your hosts.
I feel so HGTV about that intro.
We have like a little like
Me
montage.
and Brad have been married for 10 years, and we're gonna fix this house up.
Yes, and we're from like Texas. Oh, I love HGTV.
Karen's in the making. So, if you remember from last week's episode, we talked about speaking up, and we didn't really have much of an activity to do at the end of last week's episode, but we wanted to kind of like ponder what makes us afraid to speak up. And I think, I don't know, I haven't really come to a full conclusion on anything. I think I'm still figuring that out. I think it's just, for me, it's just confrontation. And like, not that I'm afraid of confrontation, because I respect and appreciate anyone that can confront me, but it's like, in the moment, it's so nerve-wracking that I can't come to think of the things to say to speak up for myself. And I think that's just kind of like growth. So I think that's all I need. You know, I know that I need to do it. Granted, I haven't been put in many situations where I had to speak up if I wasn't already. For me, I mean, I think it's just like a life lesson that needs to be learned whenever that time comes.
Time.
Yeah, and that time hasn't come, but I have plenty more time.
Yeah. I think I mentioned that for me, one of the reasons was that I avoid responsibility. And that's why I don't like to speak up, because I'm like, oh, if I speak up, then I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z. And I don't want to do those things, so I just avoid the conversation altogether. But I think I also don't speak up because I don't want to be an inconvenience. I think that a lot of the times I see myself as a burden, or that if I express my feelings to someone else, that they're going to stress out about what I'm stressing out about, and I don't want to put that onto other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh, well, if I just don't talk about it, there is no problem.
But the problem doesn't disappear just because it's
exactly.
in your brain.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's kind of like this little cycle that I've put myself in. And it's like, well, by not speaking up, you're just like making the situation worse. I think that's what it is for me. Those two things.
And so those also just communication is a little bit hard for me whenever, because I think I get that whole like being a burden, maybe not so much being a burden for me, but afraid of someone else's feelings or someone else's feelings of me, like
Oh, that they're gonna change their opinion of you?
not really that, because I usually don't. Yeah, maybe it is that. I mean, I guess it's that, or like their feeling towards me, like I guess, which is the same thing. I respect someone whenever they can confront me more. So I'm like, because I respect someone, I would hope that they could respect me, but not. The majority of people don't take it that way. You know, the majority of people don't even realize that they get really defensive with confrontation.
Yeah.
And so it is scary to approach someone.
Because you don't know what their reaction's going to be.
So maybe, fear of their reaction in general, feeling of me, thinking of me, reaction.
The whole thing. I think also, too, because I fear people's reaction as well, kind of like what you do, not as much, but I still do think about that. But what you mentioned was that, like, I know that I try to live by this, but treat others the way that I would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in a situation where, like, oh, I don't want to speak up about this, but then I was like, you know what? If the roles were reversed, I would want someone to tell me this.
Yeah.
So then that kind of encourages me to do it.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, that encourages me to do it because I'm like, that's what I would want them to do. So I'm going to do it.
That makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
Next is our jingle.
Is it your turn for the jingle?
No.
It's my turn?
Make it good!
And it's time for our jingle. Cue that now!
Yeah! Dude, I've been seeing so many TikToks about, like, rando nodding, and some of them, like, seem a little bit creepy, but I'm into that. And then some of them, like, I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy. Granted, I feel like I don't know how it would work around here, but I would like to try it, but yeah.
I want to try it because in a lot of the TikToks that I've seen, they all, like, live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we're more in, like, a city, so I think that would be interesting if it takes us somewhere. Yeah, is it going to take us to, like, some person's house?
Especially because it's always, like, 5 miles away, and I'm like, there ain't nothing 5 miles away from me.
Bus stop.
For real. But, you know, like, people find, like, weird things on, like, written on a wall or something, you know? So that would be interesting to do that. And, so I guess I'll explain, like, rando nodding is based on quantum random points in the universe, and there's this little app that, like, generates a random location, and basically the abstract definition or, like, use of it is, like, to get someone out of the matrix. So it's supposed to be like a glitch, like, you're not intended to go to that specific point, but when you do, like, you find something weird that's just, like, out of the normal, you try to manifest something, and then you get what that something is. And apparently owls is, like, a consistent, very meaningful thing in the rando nodding community, and a lot of people find owls. But basically it's just supposed to be, like, I like it because it's, like, an unintended place for you to be, like, somewhere you wouldn't usually go, even if it's, like, a mile from your place or something you wouldn't normally see, but you're kind of looking for something at that place.
Yeah.
And it's random, like, what is that called? Like, pinpoint, like, latitude, longitude.
Like a coordinate.
Yeah, it's a random coordinate that you map to, and then you're basically supposed to find, like, your manifestation. I've seen one where, like, this girl, she was debating on whether going to, like, state college or, like, a university, and she literally went to this house, and in the lawn it was mowed out, like, KU, Kansas University, at
Mm-hmm.
that ranch. And she's like, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. I want to
That
find
one was
something
really
like that.
creepy. I saw that one and I was like, whoa, like
But there
what?
is like creepier ones where it like takes them to this abandoned car that looks
Mm-hmm.
like newly abandoned in the woods, but it still has like leaves in it and stuff. And then like there's this like child noise in the background. It's like, help. And I'm like, ah!
So yeah, we should definitely try it. I think
Yeah.
that would be really fun. See if we find something or if we can manifest whatever we want
Yeah,
to.
so that's supposed to use the power of manifestation, but there's so many other ways to manifest. Granted, I don't know much about manifesting because I've always kind of known like what it was, but I just don't implement it in my life enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
to me it was always like thinking of something so much and like I guess wanting it and like putting that out into the universe that it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at like thinking of something consistently because I feel like I go through so many different thoughts a day. Like I don't have the time to keep on thinking about one thing.
Yeah, I think Alyssa and I have been talking a lot about how manifestation has become a trend lately. I would say in the past couple of years. However, manifestation and just the entire idea of law of attraction and all of that has been around for ages. But now we're kind of asking ourselves like why now? Like why is it a thing now?
Mm-hmm. And so manifesting definition, law of attraction definition is that basically that you're picking up on like the same energy as the universe at that time or something, universe or person, or like it's based on, for lack of a better word, vibes. Wait, there's no better word than vibes.
Vibes is a great word.
So it's like it's literally like about picking up on vibes, which are vibrations between like you and another person if you're manifesting that. Some people are really woo woo wee wee with it and they're like the moon and the stars have aligned for this to happen to me right now and that, I mean, that works for some people and there's so many different ways to do it that I'm like I'm interested to try it. And it was trending so much as of late that it was literally like one of the categories on the first page on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
One of the ones that you can click on, like, get fit. I think it's popular right now because so many people are having time to think and having time to actually try manifestation. And they're literally, like, a lot of people are alone with their thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't imagine for all the people that live by themselves. They're literally, like, I bet there's, like, days where they don't even use their voice, which is so weird to me. Because I'm like, at that point, I'd be talking to myself.
Yeah.
Just to hear my own voice. But
so you're saying that people are turning to manifestation because we have a lot of
well, I just think the power of it is becoming apparent or whatever. Like, people are starting to be like, oh, wow, because they're actually thinking about it, not just, like, letting life happen, you know? So I think maybe that, but also I think TikTok has a really big influence on it, like, at this moment, because there's so many, like, TikTokers and stuff, witch talkers, that are like, that explain it, and then people are like, oh, I want to try this, I want this good thing to happen to me, you know, because you're usually manifesting something positive, but I watched a video and, like, it's very easy to manifest bad things, too. If you're putting bad vibes out there, you're gonna get bad vibes
Whatever
back.
you put out, you're gonna receive back.
So, earlier I was mentioning to Carla that I was feeling low, and I'm like, I don't want to be feeling this low because I don't want, like, bad things to come to me. Like, I'm trying to pull myself out this rut so that I can pick up on good vibes, you know?
Yeah, no, a good example. This morning, I took an Uber to work. And I usually was like, you know what? I'm going to get a coffee before work, so I'm going to leave for work early. And so I did. I got ready. I was, like, about to head out the door. I ordered my Uber. And you know how Uber does that thing where it's like, oh, your car is, like, 3 minutes away. And then, like, 15 minutes later, it's, like, still 3 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I got so, like, I put myself down about it. And I started just thinking negatively, like, oh, of course this would happen. This would happen to me today when I wanted to leave early and get a coffee.
Thursdays, right?
Exactly. And I was just kind of, like, going on this, like, negative, like, tangent in my head of, like, ugh, there's probably going to be, like, traffic. And I'm going to be super late. I'm not going to be able to get my coffee. Like, and I kind of, in a way, manifested all of those bad things to happen. Because there was traffic. I was late to work. I didn't get to get my coffee. Like, you know, and that's the thing is, like, had I caught my thoughts earlier and had I, like, been like, okay, I'm thinking negatively, I should have switched my thoughts, I could have manifested good traffic. And I would have gotten to work in the nick of time. And
or,
maybe,
like, just I feel like a lot of manifestation too is like your attitude, rather than being like,
Yeah.
you know what, I don't get to get my coffee now, but we'll still get to work, and this, like, it's like,
Or like, I could get my coffee later.
gratitude is the attitude.
Yeah, and I think a lot of like manifestation and just like the law of attraction is also about changing your thought patterns. And also something that a lot of people refer to is like the difference between high vibration and low vibration, which, you know, high vibration being like goodness, positivity, and low vibration being kind of like feeling down and negativity. And the more high vibration you have, the more you're going to attract all the good things that you want, and the more you're going to be like, it's going to be easier for you to manifest if you're on a high vibration. You need to have high vibrational thoughts all the time.
Good vibes only.
Basically, it's like good vibes and bad vibes, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Vibes literally is short for vibrations. Like, whenever you're like, dude, you're bringing bad vibes. Like, it's bad vibrations to my life, man. There's so many ways to, like, approach manifesting, and also, like, to think about manifesting. Because you're like, but maybe if I manifested good traffic, I would have changed traffic. Whereas I'm like, I don't think you would have changed traffic, but you could change your attitude about it, which is then kind of manifesting positivity in your day. Because whereas, like, same thing happens to me sometimes where I'm, like, having a bad, like, when I was like, oh, Thursdays, it's like, oh, Mondays, like, something bad will happen in the morning. I'm like, ugh, this is the kind of day it's going to be. And then it is, because I have that attitude from the start.
Because you decided from the beginning it's a bad day, and now it is a bad day. So had you caught that on earlier, you would have been able to change it and been like, you know what? No, today's a good day. And then it would have been a good day.
This bad thing happened, but bad things just happen. But it's just so hard to pull yourself out of self-pity. That's really what bad vibrations are.
Yeah, because I'm like, you can't change what happens to you, but you can change your attitude.
Yeah, it's just really hard to stay positive.
Yeah, it is.
It's easier to be, it's like literally easier to be negative, because the negative things that happen in your day are so much more impactful, because all the good things that happen in your day aren't, like, really recognized, I don't think.
Yeah.
But, like, whenever something slightly inconveniences your day, you're like, holy crap, my world is off track, blah blah blah, like, because it inconvenienced your life. Like,
yeah,
we focus so much more on the bad, which is bad.
Yeah, that's one of the things that law of attraction and manifestation has helped me a lot in the past since I've started doing it, which I want to say maybe like a couple years ago. Kind of slowly have been diving into it, and the more I do it, the more I enjoy it, was that I have been able to be way more positive, and it's helped me to more like look within and think about, like, why do I think this way? Like, why have I always been like a little judgy? Why have I always been really negative or like pessimistic and all of that? And it's kind of made me take a step back and be like, why do I think these things? And, like, who told me that I had to let one bad thing ruin my entire day? Like, no one told me to do that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to, or, you know, I just kind of
It just happens.
Yeah.
Whenever it should just not.
Yes, I think that it's helped me a lot in that. But there's so much more to it.
There is. Like, well, and there's, like, different ways of manifestation. So, like, I don't know much about the ways. You could probably touch on more, but I know that there's something called scripting.
Yes!
I just learned about this in research for this episode. So, like, scripting, and I'm trying to think of, like, a good way to word it, because even still, people do it differently. Basically, like, a diary entry of things that haven't happened, but you make it sound like it's happened. Like, I love my new car she's like, I love my new 2019 Toyota that I'm driving, and I love parking it in my house, and, like, just everything about that, and, like, doing that will help that to happen. And then, see, like, I don't go as far, I know, like, I like talking about this stuff. I don't go as far as, like, believing that. I think that's fun and all. I don't believe that would actually work. Granted, I haven't tried it. My version of manifestation is, like, just kind of, like, putting it out there, like, like, thinking about it, wanting it for a while, then maybe having the courage to, like, talk to people about this, like, whether it's a new job or a new car or just something exciting in your life. A love life, like, just being like, hey, and then talking about it, taking action on that, and then something, like, happening. because of that, because you putting it out there. Like, and it could be as random as, like, someone that you shouldn't have met appears and, like, they're like, oh, hey, I have this job opening that I know about, and then gives you that opportunity, and it's like a friend of a friend of a friend. And so that's how I think or always thought of it, but researching it more, I know that it's so much more in depth.
Yeah, I think that there's kind of like 4 key ways to manifest, and I find that the best way to manifest is to do a combination of all of them. So I think like the main one would be like putting it out there, like thinking about it. The second way would be intent, like visualizing. Also scripting, and then I would say
I heard about visualizing too.
Yeah, visualizing's fun. I love doing that. And then I would say like affirmations. And doing like a combination of like all of those
I'm trying
things.
The affirmation way. Like I feel like affirmations is just kind of like repeatedly thinking about it and stuff, right?
Yeah, like saying something repeatedly, and you can do whatever you want. You don't have to do like I am beautiful or I am happy. It can be like something more specific.
Well, it can be but you have to like kind of believe it as you say it, and then each time you'll believe it a little bit more.
Yeah.
To where you don't need to say it. You just believe it.
Yeah.
And that's, I feel like, what the power of that is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, at first, you're like, this is weird. I am not beautiful. And then you say it more and more, and then you're just, like,
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about it, you're thinking about the reasons that make you beautiful, you know? And, like, subconsciously. And I feel like that's why it works.
Yeah, that's
kind of like it's all in your subconscious. But our subconscious and our brain is very powerful.
I feel like affirmations kind of like bring that out. It kind of brings it more to the forefront. It's like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh, I have to think about this thing today.
Yeah, like you said, we tend to think more of the negatives. And by doing positive affirmations, you're training your brain to stop thinking negatively. Like one of the things that sometimes I do, some of the affirmations that I do is that sometimes like I feel very insecure about the way I look and like my body and stuff like that. And so I'll look at myself in the mirror. It's a little weird, but I look at myself in the mirror and I remind myself like,
that's not weird.
My body does so much for me. You know, my body is a temple. My body is my home. You know, my body is beautiful, and I kind of just keep telling myself all of these things, and I don't know, it just makes me feel way better about myself, because at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? Like, my body's here to serve me, you know?
For me, the affirmation that I have been trying in the past couple of days is, like, something that I have struggled with literally my whole life. I've never been able to be alone, like, as a child, I'd get bored. I didn't like to play by myself. I needed a friend or my parents, and like I always like to be around friends and people, or my cat. Even my cat gets fed up with me, and like, so I'm trying to like manifest being comfortable like with myself, like alone. And not that I'm like can't be alone and can't think alone and stuff like that, but I want to like
your own
being
company.
by myself, and because I don't like it, I would prefer being with other people. But that's one that I'm trying to manifest, is that like liking that, and also just like being productive. Because when I'm bored, I tend to just be like, but like, yeah.
I think it's also just because I think you enjoy quality time with other people. Like that is your way of like unwinding. But yeah, what do you say? Do you just say, like, I need to be alone, or?
I'm comfortable being by myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying that. But I also just think that would help me, like, in every kind of relationship, romantically, friendship, like, just being more confident, too.
Yeah.
Being, like, if a friendship ends and stuff like that, like, which has happened, like, I've lost a best friend before.
You're not gonna feel that emptiness.
Yeah, it's not gonna, well, not that it's not gonna hurt, or, like, there might be a little hole there for a bit, but it's like...
Bitches come and go.
Yeah. That's funny. Just, like, being comfortable with the time that I spent with that person, like, now being spent by myself, rather than longing for that time with that person.
Do you go on dates with yourself?
No.
You should do it.
It's so boring.
What?
I tried going on a date with my cat, and I was like,
Oh, when you went to the beach?
No, it was fun. It was fun. But I could only do it for like 30 minutes.
You should work on that.
See, I'm trying.
Because I go on dates with myself all the time, and I love it. I really do.
Just like to a restaurant?
I haven't been to a restaurant, but I have been to, like, I love going to the mall, or just, like, shopping in general.
Oh, I love shopping by myself.
Yeah, so, like...
Mainly because other people can't stand shopping with me.
Yeah, no, I'll make, like, I'll plan, like, a whole day. Like, I'll go to the mall, then I'll treat myself to, like, the food court food, and I'll be like, ooh, I'm gonna get myself, like, a smoothie, and I'll get a smoothie. I'll get myself a pretzel from the mall, and then I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna buy myself, like, a new lipstick, because treat yourself, and then I'm gonna treat myself, and I don't know, it's just, I make, like, a whole day out of it.
I call that errands.
It is, like, you could call it errands, but it's like I'm doing it for me. It's like I don't have to go to the mall and get a pretzel. Like, that's not like a necessity. It's something that I'm treating myself to because, you know, like, I deserve it because I'm awesome and I love myself and I'm great and I'm going to do it.
That's hard. Right.
Yeah, but it did take me a long time to, like, be able to speak of myself in that way.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I can. Sometimes I'm like, I'm feeling myself, and then, like, I lose it so easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a bummer. What are you gonna do? Manifest that shit. So how would you explain, like, visualization?
Visualization for me is I usually visualize when I meditate. So I definitely suggest meditating. I think it puts you in a very kind of, like, I don't know, it kind of gives you, like, a clean slate in your brain. Mm-hmm. And I think it's easier to manifest whenever you're kind of, like, at peace with yourself. So I usually meditate. And then I kind of take a moment. I usually like to play music. I'll do kind of like meditation music, basically, like something that's very...
Like the frequencies?
Yeah, like binaural beats? I forgot what it's called. I don't know how to pronounce
130 HQZ
Hertz.
There you go.
Yeah, Hertz. I'll listen to like that kind of music, something just very simple, or like a sound bath. And then I kind of just sit there and I visualize what I want. So whatever that is, you know, a job, a relationship, a friendship, or if you want to be, or even just like a state of mind. Like maybe I'm feeling really like down in the dumps or very stressed out, and I picture myself not being stressed or being just very at peace and happy and joyful. And I kind of just sit there and it's kind of like playing scenarios in your head, but not just only going through the scenarios visually in your head, also going through the feelings as well. Like, how do you feel in that scenario? How does the other person feel? And, like, you kind of have to, like, really, like, visualize how that's going to play out in all senses of the phrase, basically. I also script my affirmations as well. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So if I can vocally say my affirmations or I can script them. I've been doing scripting for, I want to say, like, a few months now. And I do it like a journal entry. And and the first few ones that I did felt so weird because it's like, this hasn't happened yet, you know? But you have to kind of fake it and just kind of do like, okay, this is what my life is. And so you, like you said earlier, you know, you have to write it as if it has already happened. And you have to be very specific again. Visualizing, like, not only like, okay, I want this, but it's like, this is how it makes me feel. And then you also have to be very, like, grateful. I find that gratitude is a really good way to attract what you want. And also another thing that I've just recently learned is to not be too controlling of what you're manifesting. Because I know that I can be a control freak. I'm like, I want this. I've been manifesting it. I've been scripting it. I want it.
Yeah, you can't be mad if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the universe is going to give you what you need, not what you want.
Mercury was just in retrograde, man. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, it is. It was. And then also just the fact that for me, in terms of manifestation, because everyone's going to do it a different way, and there's different techniques to do it. You know, like, there's, like, the 3-6-9 method.
Isn't that the one that was trending on TikTok where, like, it's like, oh, my crush is going to text me, and they're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, where you write out, like, what you want 3 times, do the intent, like, 6 times, and then you kind of, like, elaborate what you want. You have to, like, write it out over and over again. And there's a lot of them are writing or scripting, where you write what you want over and over and over again and, like, feel it and visualize it as you're writing it. So that's why I'm saying, like, for manifestation, I think that just thinking about it isn't enough.
Yeah.
You definitely have to do one or the other things to really kind of get what you want. But for me, I found that in terms of manifesting, that's where I've been the most successful, is by being more vague rather than specific. Because some people will tell you, like, you have to be very specific. Like, if you want to attract a specific person,
I feel like that would be, like, hard.
Yeah, or a specific situation or a specific job. I just feel like that's
not even hard, but that would be, like, the odds of that happening.
Yeah, not just the odds,
so much less.
but I feel like sometimes you could be attracting the wrong thing. Because, like, maybe I want to attract a specific person, per se, but I'm like, maybe I'm not in the moment where I've realized that this person isn't good for me, so I could be attracting the wrong thing the whole time. That's why, for what I've come to realize, is that I need to attract more, like, qualities of something that I want rather than something specific. So
that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah, because that's kind of how, like, I think that I manifested the job that I have now. Because I remember I was looking for a job for a really long time, and I wanted something very specific. And then I was like, you know what? I just need a job right now. Like, who cares what kind of job it is? I just want a job. But I knew that I wanted, like, kind of like a few things and specifically. And so I thought, okay, I want a job where my boss isn't a tyrant. I want a job where I feel heard and I feel listened to, where I feel cared for. Where the people that I work with are like a family. And those were kind of the three things that I wanted. I'm like, everything else, I don't care. I just want kind of like that community. And I ended up getting that. And it was definitely not a job that I was looking for. It was something completely on the other side. But I don't know. I like my job. And I ended up getting what I needed and not what I wanted at the beginning.
I can't say that I've manifested anything. I think, like, by accident it's happened for me, but I've never intentionally tried to manifest anything. Like, it'll be like where I'm talking about something and then I start noticing it, like, everywhere, which that happens to a lot of people. Yeah. Or, like, I just learn about something and then, like, it's all of a sudden, like, really apparent in my life. Like,
yeah,
things like that I'm just like, that's just kind of weird. I feel like that's a little more glitchy than anything, though. Not really manifesting, but
glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. So it's really important to set your intention for anything that you're doing.
Yeah. That's like,
and that's so hard to focus on, because that's a big thing in randonauting too, as well. Like, the coordinates are generating, because it, like, takes time for it to, like, download or whatever. You're supposed to be, like, have your intention set and, like, thinking about that intention, manifesting it per se. But, like, I'm not really good at, like, focusing on that one thing. I'm like,
that's what I like to. That's why I like to do it while I'm meditating, because it's like, I don't know, I get to kind of clear all those thoughts out.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm also not very good at meditating. I need to be, like, more adamant about it. I do, like, guided meditations, and then most of the time I fall asleep, and then sometimes I never do it right. They say that you should do it sitting up, and then, like, sitting upright and, like, sitting. I always do it in bed, like, laying down.
You can do it in bed.
I just do it while I'm laying down.
I love doing it laying down.
I feel like I feel it more when I'm sitting, though, for sure. Like, like, it's harder for me to, because I'm feeling, like, the blankets on me and, like, the pillows and stuff like that. Like, I feel like I can truly, like, feel my body without touching it and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, while I'm sitting more so. Yeah.
I usually do it sitting in the morning.
And I feel like it makes it more of an activity rather than, like, I'm doing this and then I'm going to bed.
But you can do it to go to bed.
Yeah. I just feel like it doesn't really, it's not been helpful to me, you know? Just kind of, like, listening to some British guy. I mean, I try to do what they're saying and stuff, and sometimes I'm like, oh, wow. And I always am like that. I guess I feel like I'm glad that I breathed a little deeper and stuff, but...
Yeah, it'll take time, but...
Yeah. And I know that. I mean, it's not something that has been a part of my life until, like, lately.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what else could I do to alleviate stress? I don't want to... I feel like I would definitely die of stress. And I don't want to die from stress. Like, I'm literally a bottle of stress, like, about everything and anything. And I'm like, that's going to be what kills me.
You gotta give yourself an affirmation that you are not a bottle of stress. I am not a bottle of stress.
I'm interested to see if it, like, works, you know?
Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to bring up was ways in which you are manifesting and you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, little ones, I would say, like, making a wish. I think making a wish, like, if
I
it's...
feel like I do that a lot.
Yeah, like, if it's your birthday or if you find an eyelash and you're like, oh, make a wish.
Literally every eyelash, shooting star, birthday, like...
Yeah, or, like, what are
always...
those, like a dandelion? Or what is
Oh,
it?
yeah, those two.
That you just, like, you know, that you find on the floor or whatever.
I love the video where she's, like, making her friend, like, blowing it and, like, sticks it in her mouth. She's like...
But yeah, like, making a wish, that in itself is because you're putting that intent, you're putting it out there, you're like, oh, I want this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're probably just going to do it in that moment and then never think about it again, so it's not very effective, but it's one way to do it. I would say in terms of law of attraction, I think like karma, believing in karma, that's law of attraction. Because you know that if you do something...
Then you're putting out good vibes.
Exactly. You're putting out good vibes, but also like bad karma. You know, if you know that if you do something bad's going to happen. So that's also kind of law of attraction. Yeah.
Too. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense.
And then the last one, which is kind of like it's kind of obvious, but you don't really think about it, is a dream board. Or like a mood board. Because especially around New Year's and people are like, oh, I'm going to do my dream board for 2020. And then you do like a collage of everything that you want to achieve that year. And you might think of it as like New Year's resolutions or just like goals. But in a way, it's also manifestation because you're visually seeing it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that helps with manifestation is to visually see what your goals are and what you're trying to get. So to look at pictures and colors of what you're trying to get. Like if I'm trying to manifest a trip to Hawaii and I have an entire collage of pictures of me photoshopped in Hawaii or something, then I'm in a way manifesting and putting that dream board in a place where I'm going to see it every day. It's going to be a constant reminder of what I'm manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it'll happen.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm not very good at, like, aesthetic things like that, so I just kind of don't. I guess I never really thought about, like, manifesting while not thinking about manifesting. So I guess I've done that, because I make wishes all the time. Like, every superstition. I don't know, I guess it's superstition. I guess I am superstitious, because I do all of them just in case, you know?
Yeah.
I'm superstitious about being superstitious. Like, I don't actually believe, like, good luck, like, throwing the salt over your shoulder if you drop the bottle, but I, like, do it, because I'm, like, just in case. So maybe I am superstitious because of that.
Yeah. It's like you don't want to admit that you are.
Well, it's like, I truly don't, like, believe, like, when a black cat crosses your path, it's bad luck, and this and that. But I make, like, wishes on an eyelash, and, like, I make up my own superstitions sometimes, like, and I'm, like, since a child, I'm like, okay, because of this, now I have to do this, like, we're gonna try a manifesting technique, we're gonna try rando nodding,
Yeah.
So, I'm excited about this, because I see it all the time, and I'm, like, super interested. I kind of want it to be creepy. Ooh, but I don't want to manifest creepy, but then again, I do. Like, deep down, that is what I want, but I don't want to want that, you know? Like, I don't want it to actually happen.
It happens,
but I feel like we're gonna have to set the same intention, you know? Is that how it works?
Or we could do one by one.
That's what I'm saying, but then you'll have to, like, think of my intention, and I'll have to think of yours. Well, not, like, brain, but, like, whenever we go do mine, we're gonna both have to, like, set our intentions on whatever I say, and then we'll have to set the intention on whatever you say. I think that's how it works.
We could do it like that,
I don't know.
But we'll see. We'll try it out, and we'll see what happens on our little... We're going to record it.
Let you guys know. We will let you guys know about our experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know what our intention will be yet, but you'll find out. I'm excited, because I have always wanted to try this.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I think it's like a really like quick and easy way to manifest something.
Yeah, because I feel like if
Yeah.
our activity was like to manifest something you've been wanting to manifest, like that could take however
A long
long. But
time.
rando nodding is like, does it work? Does it not work? Does it
Mm-hmm.
work for some people or sometimes? And maybe it's that's the thing with manifestation. It's also subjective. Like, was your intention strong enough?
Yeah.
Was that your true intention?
It could also, another thing that could affect your manifesting is your mental state. Like if you're very anxious, it's probably not going to happen.
Or if you like don't truly believe it and like see, but I'm like, I'm not gonna believe it until it happens.
You
So
gotta
universe,
believe.
you gotta make it happen. Manifesting working.
Yeah.
That's what I'm manifesting. Thank you guys again for watching episode 4.
I'm gonna manifest you guys a liking and subscribing if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening, go ahead and give us a good old review or whatever.
Yeah.
But we have social medias. We have Insta. We have the Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
We have the TikTok, which is probably where we're gonna post our activity.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And let us know if you've manifested something. What did you manifest?
I'm super curious about people's experience with manifestation, so please engage with us because I'm like curious to know about like what you guys think about the topics we're talking about, or like if any of it relates to you, or what you've come to terms with on something that we've said. Like, I'd really be curious about your rando nodding experience if anyone has been. But if not, just manifesting in general, just because this one is so, like, I'm on the fence about, you know, whether it works or not, or if it's something I should implement in my life more. So I'd be curious as to, like, other people.
Let's convince her to implement this.
Not that, I mean, I'm going to try. I'm not going to not try. I'm, like, down to try anything at least once. But I know this is a repetitive thing. But I've been pretty good about, like, the past couple of days doing my, like, being comfortable alone, like, with myself, I should say.
Yeah.
One, just like trying to, and I mean, I can't say that I feel any better yet, but it's been 2 days. Like, I feel better about like remembering it. Now it's kind of becoming more of a habit, like throughout my day when I'm not thinking, never mind, that's never, but it just like pops into my brain of something that I have to do now. Yeah. You know, so it's working in that aspect. And so like once that happens, if it does, then like I can, now I have that like cycling through my head of thinking about that, and then I can just think of a new thought, you know? Yeah. If it works. So we'll see.
We'll see. Well, until next time, thank you for joining us.
We love you. Well, I do. Peace out, Russ.